All right, welcome everyone. My name is Deb Taylor, and I want to welcome you to the Virtual College Exploration for all Ohio students. It is sponsored by the Ohio Association of College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type in your question to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the presenter cannot hear you or see you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at oacac.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within a week at the same website, oacac.org. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to our presenters.
Great. Thank you so much. We're super excited to be a part of this opportunity tonight of OACAC, and I'm glad we have some students here. So we'll get started here. My name is Tracy Carr. I'm Associate Director of Admissions here at the College of Wooster. I actually covered the Cleveland area, and I'm super excited to have a student here, a part of this experience, who's from the Cleveland area. It just so happened to happen that one of our senior interns here is able to be a part of our program tonight. So Olivia, could you introduce yourself and tell us your involvement on campus?
Hi everybody, my name is Olivia and I'm one of our senior interns at admissions. So I'm currently a senior at the College of Wooster. I'm from Shaker Heights, Ohio, which is in the Cleveland area, and I'm our student body president and president of our Model United Nations team. So feel free to ask me any questions about that, but I'm happy to answer anything else as well about student life.
Thanks, Olivia. We definitely want tonight to be very interactive. I know you get a lot of seniors and juniors and sophomores. It's a lot of information sessions of us talking at you. So we'd love to get your questions. So feel free to ask any questions tonight during our 45-minute session with you tonight. So we hope that you can learn a little bit about the College of Wooster. So as I flip through some slides here, just 3 things that we want you to know about the College of Wooster. So we are just an hour away from you all. So it's great to see that we are just a driving distance away. We are America's premier college for premier undergraduate mentored research. And we also provide a lot of global campus thriving community with a diverse perspective, pride and camaraderie and clever traditions. So just to talk to you a little bit about the College of Wooster, and where we're located is in the city of Worcester. So there's 30,000 that reside in the city of Worcester. Again, we're only an hour away. Olivia, could you talk a little bit about how you have incorporated your life in the city of Worcester?
Yeah, it's really nice to be actually within a thriving and pretty energetic college town, which is what I loved about Worcester when I first visited. Normally we would have a lot more restaurant options, but that's one of my favorite parts about downtown Worcester is that we have all sorts of great places to eat and interact with locals. But right now, one of my favorite things to do in the fall especially is to go to our open air farmers market where they have lots of Amish crafts, and it's a really fun way to talk to people who work within the city. So it's nice to be nearby also to Cleveland, but also to have a really nice life within Worcester as well.
So we are driving distance to the downtown area, and then also we do allow cars on campus all 4 years, but if you don't have a car, you don't feel left out. There is public transportation. There is a north end with a lot of chain restaurants and everything. And I think we have a question already, which is great because I want this to be an interactive session. And Olivia, we have a question about Greek life. So less than 20% of our students are involved in Greek life. Olivia, could you talk a little bit about our Greek life on campus?
Sure. Yeah, I like to talk about a Greek life as an opt-in process because it's something that's available and I would say not super exclusive. You can join regardless of your background or anything that you're interested in, and we have a wide variety of groups for different personalities. I personally wasn't interested in joining Greek life, so it's something I chose not to do. But I'm still friends with people who are in Greek life. I can still attend their events if I choose, but I also have a really nice social life outside of it as well. So it's something that if you're interested in, it's there for you, but it's not going to be your whole life because most people who are in Greek life are involved in 5 other different things too, and it doesn't take up all their time.
So kind of we skip through to internships, but being a research institution and coming in undecided, we'll talk a little bit about our academics in a little bit, but internships is always on the mindset of our students. So what can they do in our area? So Apex does a great job of finding those internships, job shadowing experiences, service learning opportunities for our students. So we really provide those experiential learning opportunities in the city of Worcester. So here's a campus map of the College of Wooster. We're spread out over 200 acres, but very compact. Olivia, where do you love to, is it easy to walk from one end of residence life to the other end, to academic buildings and everything?
Yes, it's very easy. I'm not a morning person, but I can book it to class in about 5 minutes, so I can just roll out of bed and be on my way there. But the nice thing I like about campus too is that even though everything's very walkable, I feel like there is a divide between the housing and the buildings. So you don't always feel like you're, overshadowed by school. You can have a place where you can go home and relax and then walk back to the academic side of campus.
We have another question about Greek life, and we love answering these questions in between what we're talking about in the terms of the College of Wooster. But are there any requirements to get into the sororities at the College of Wooster?
I am not the best person to ask about this, but I did rush one just out of interest because I want to see what it was like. So in the fall, we have a rush process. It's pretty chill. You just get a chance to go in, talk to people who are in the sororities. It's a very personality-based thing, so they really just like you to go in, talk to them, get a sense of who you are, and you can have some times to hang out with them, see if you like the vibe, and see if you fit in. And then in the spring, you'll figure out, or I guess towards the end of the first semester, they give you a bid. So I would say it's a pretty relaxed process. I don't think that it's like a lot of big state schools where it takes up the first week. They just kind of have several events over the course of the first semester where you can kind of get to know it. So I would say it's pretty chill.
Yeah, so all of our sororities and fraternities, there are all gender fraternities and sororities and mixed genders. I think what I enjoy about our students connecting with the fraternity, the Greek life, is that they find that connection with individuals within that fraternity or sorority, and that it's a lot revolved around community service. So we're proud of those students continuing their community service within their Greek life affiliation. So with our global campus, we're really proud of our student life and where we attract our students from. 2,000 students, 31% of our students come from Ohio. And we are the largest undergraduate institution that provides that international representation for undergraduate population. So I love that we have questions. I want those, and it feels like I'm stopping. But if you're a part of an undergraduate program, for example, speech pathology, which we do have, how are you supported going into your graduate program? Olivia, are you able to answer that?
Yeah, you can probably give a better idea of the technical details, but I'm currently looking into graduate programs as I'm wrapping up my time at Wooster here. And one of the great things is that you have an academic advisor all 4 years, and they are specifically going to be within your major. So a great resource for me has been talking to my academic advisor, thinking, with my best interests in mind, what should the process look like? Knowing my skill set, where do you think it would be a good fit for me? But more broadly, if you have questions about the process or want to look at things that you may not necessarily have knowledge of or want to consider, Apex, which is our career center, has a lot of great advisors who can sit you down, talk you through about what you need to do. Like for me, if I'm looking at business school, they say, okay, you need to see where you'd like to live, you need to take the GMAT, and so on and so forth, and then eventually walk you through step by step. So if you have somebody you have a close mentorship with, you can ask them, but you can also set up appointments within the career center.
Thanks, Olivia. As I flip through some of the screens of what's offered in the activities, that are offered, the campus life at the College of Wooster. 30% of our students are involved in performing arts, to 30% involved in athletics. We are a Division III athletic program. We are a part of the North Coast Athletic Conference. So we, as we attract diversity to our campus, we provide a lot of activities for students to find that bond and that connection to keep them a part of our community for all 4 years. I know we kind of went from the fun stuff now back to the mentored research in talking about our average class size, because that's really important as you all try to find that fit as you continue your educational journey. So we do provide that 11-to-1 student-teacher ratio, that 18 student average class size. So we provide that interactive environment. And so when students think research, they get kind of like, how does that happen at Wooster? Because most places that only happens at the graduate stage. So Olivia, how does Wooster prepare you from day one to when you get to that senior year where you have to do that research, a part of your 2 semesters at Wooster?
Yeah, I can answer that. But first, there's a question asking if we are sharing
great.
slides. So should we have our PowerPoint up from the Woo 101, or are we just talking tonight?
Okay, so I thought we had our slides up.
Well, I can talk about IS while we fuss with that.
Sure.
To get ready for independent study, what I really appreciated is that I had 4 years building up to it. So I was not just thrown into the deep end this year. There we go. And even though it was something that I was nervous about when I first came in, I do feel like I had the support, because when you start at Wooster, you have a first-year seminar. It's something you can choose with a wide variety of topics depending on your interests, where you learn how to write college-style papers. And you also get an academic advisor there who will work you through that process, and then until you declare a major, will stick with you and kind of help you decide which path you choose. And sophomore year, you get a chance to declare your major, which is great. And so I decided, because of my first year seminar, how much I loved the criminal justice class I took, I decided I wanted to major in sociology. So I stayed with my academic advisor from that first year and got a chance to do some paid research for her, which was great. So I wrote or helped to write a chapter on LGBT social movements. And that was a really cool way for me to kind of get my hands dirty and see what was going on in the field. And then I finally got to lay up to my senior independent study. And most have a junior independent study component as well. Most majors do, where you'll kind of get a chance to do a smaller version of your senior independent study, and you can repurpose some of that work for it. So over the course of the 4 years, you're going to have that experience. And with your junior independent study too, you're basically, preparing yourself for it, and you can use that towards your senior IS so you aren't too overwhelmed.
So whoever that student was, thank you so much, because I thought that we had our screens up. So thank you so much. So Olivia, if you don't mind keeping an eye on the question and answer session part of our presentation tonight. So on the screen are some independent study projects that we're really proud of. We do have a list on our website per academic major, so if you're interested in learning more about those. So we're really, again, it's only us in Princeton. I know some other schools say it's all about research, but we're proud of that we're only 2 colleges that have been recognized for undergraduate research and our senior capstone project. Olivia, so how's it been? You're a senior now, with COVID and the stress of everything. How are you connecting with your professor and finding the most out of what we're nationally known for is with our research? How are you kind of developing that relationship, possibly virtually?
Yeah, one of the blessings is that because I have been in the sociology department effectively for 4 years, but many people will be in their department at least from their sophomore year forward, I already had a great relationship with my advisor because we had taken classes together, and also because I had done research for her. So we'd already had a great relationship, and many people do end up with an advisor who they've already had a class with or they've already known through some other channel. So it's not like you're jumping into this with a stranger. I mean, they're going to know your strengths and your weaknesses and kind of help you through that. So one of the things that I appreciated is that she knew that she needed to nag me a little bit because I was going to get overwhelmed and not do it. So that's been great, is that she follows up with me on Teams and Zoom and email, which I'm not going to lie and say that it's as fun as being in person, but I still do have that connection with her where we check in with each other weekly. She can send me articles and we can kind of talk about my progress. So I'm hoping that as things progress, because she's a big office, we'll eventually feel comfortable coming in and having those in-person consultations still with masks on. But it's something that because you're already going to have that relationship and because technology is getting better, I still do feel like I'm getting the most out of the meetings, which is really helpful.
I'm going to go back to a video. I don't know if you can see this, Olivia, if I play it.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to see that video, Olivia? Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. This is a trial time tonight, so we appreciate the students. I know we have some questions. There were 3 questions.
Yeah, we have 2 because we answered the one about the slides.
Okay,
So
great.
thank you
So let's.
for that. Yes. Do you want me to read out the other ones too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there is one that asks, do you offer any deaf studies or American Sign Language programs or classes?
Unfortunately, we do with the speech communications office. We do have that. Unfortunately, that doesn't count for your foreign language requirement at the College of Wooster, but we do have that a part of our communications studies disorders area.
Mm-hmm. And we'd also do have a working hearing clinic too as part of that. So you'll get a chance to do some classes within ASL and with deaf studies. And so that's kind of a cool way that we do have the lab aspect as well. So I don't believe that we have a major in deaf studies, but it's part of our communication sciences and disorders, which would incorporate some of those classes. And then we also have a question about pre-dentistry programs. And is there a group for pre-professional degrees?
Great. Yes, we do have a case study or a Case Western relationship with the college that we provide. And so students can apply to the College of Wooster and also will send their application once they indicate that that they're interested in the 3-2 case dental program, that will send their application to Case Western, and then Case Western will be in touch with you regarding your acceptance into the program. Roughly around February and March. So definitely indicate that on your application. We get a lot of students that are interested in that program. It's highly selective.
We also have another question saying, how are your financial aid programs?
Great, so we definitely try to be competitive. So we offer need-based aid as well as non-need-based. So when you apply to the College of Wooster, you're applying for admissions into the College of Wooster as well as merit scholarships. And then you'll fill out the FAFSA to apply for need-based aid. So if any seniors that are a part of our program tonight, we do have an early aid estimator that allows students to complete a form to get results of their need-based and also their non-need-based scholarship at the College of Wooster.
And looks like we have one more. It says, what are some normal campus activities offered to students? Are campus activities put on hold right now because of COVID?
Good. I know, Olivia, you are on campus right now and in your residence hall right now.
Yes. I'm currently living on campus with my beautiful yellow wall behind me in this brand new building. So it's very cool to live in a colorful space. I appreciate that. But to answer your questions about normal campus activities, We do not have any athletics this semester, which I think has been difficult for some students, but for academic and interest-based clubs, we've been able to have them virtually and in small groups in person. So, I mean, a lot of campus activities that normally we would do just because of this, like the sheer size of them, are not feasible right now. But we still are finding ways to connect, especially while the weather is nice right now. There are some outdoor meetings and things like that. So unfortunately, the 10-person gathering limit does put a damper on a lot of what we can do, but I still do feel like students are getting a sense of connection because we are still trying our best with online meetings. And we have one about double majors and creating your own major. Because we do offer double majors, and I believe you can self-design. You're muted, by the way. Here.
Yeah. So a lot of students love when they look up our major minor list that they'll see you can self-design. So again, every student comes in undecided. So we allow that opportunity for students to take classes, get that connection with professors, upper class students, get connected with our Apex facility. I know I didn't mention that in our presentation, but that's an area that allows opportunities for students to find out about internships, job shadowing, study abroad opportunities. And so, yeah, so you have 3 semesters to declare your major at the College of Wooster. Olivia, when did you declare your major?
I declared on the very last day of my first year. So I think that's fairly uncommon. I know a lot of people tend to wait until the end of second semester, your sophomore year, when you have to decide. But I know for me, through my first year seminar, I definitely wanted to major in sociology. So if you fall in love right away, you absolutely can major and you can still change. But I know for a lot of people too, there are lots of times to shop around. We do have a core credit requirement, so you will have a chance to kind of see what you like, discover some new things. So most people come in without any sense of what they want to do, and nobody is asked to declare a major when they apply. So essentially, you're going to have that time to figure it out, and I'm kind of an outlier with how early I decided.
Olivia, as I know we don't have any questions right now, but as you decided to make your final decision your senior year, what were some things that you thought about prior to making that final decision? Did you go out and visit schools? What did you do at the College of Wooster to make that final decision?
To choose my major, or for Worcester in general? You cut out a little bit.
For Wooster, your final college decision.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I looked at a lot of schools. I was kind of all over the place and didn't know what I wanted. So I applied all over the country and all range of sizes and rurality and in the city. So I also was really nervous about being close to home. And that was one thing that I thought for sure I did not want in a school, because I was so close to Cleveland. I was thinking, I don't really want to go somewhere that's an hour away from home. But I visited Worcester's campus on a visit day over the summer, and I loved getting to know the people on campus. And I really appreciated just how friendly everybody was, because that was something looking at other schools, there were students there, but not many of them would just come up to me and be like, oh, hey, welcome. It's nice to see you're interested. And that's something that's carried on all throughout the 4 years. And it's what I wanted, was to have a community and to have just, be able to have that ability to just walk up to anybody. And so that's something that I really appreciate about us, is that it's a very laid back environment, but people really do care for each other. So that was where I felt it the most, was at Wooster, and that was what helped me make my final decision.
So we'll talk about next steps, but if the audience if you have any other questions, our best advice is for you to connect virtually with us at the College of Wooster. We are open, so we'd love for you to come down, even though we're a little over an hour away. We do provide campus tours and also interviews in person, but we're going to be offering a lot of virtual opportunities for you to connect with different populations across our campus, whether it's student life, residence life, our students, our faculty. So we're offering twilight tours at night, so you can come down at 6:30, grab a tour, or Saturday virtually. So make sure you check your email. We're going to be connected with you in any possible way before you apply or during your application process. So I see we have a question, which is great.
Yeah, I can read this one out,
Okay.
if you can see it. But this one says, could you speak a bit about Worcester's global and international studies and if/how they are limited by your major?
Olivia, can you touch on that or?
Yeah, I'm not a GIS major, but I know a lot of people who are just through Model UN. That tends to be the crowd it attracts. But it's basically you choose a track that you want to use or to go like more a route with GIS. You can choose poli-sci or econ. You are required to have a foreign language, and I don't know how things are with COVID, but on a normal track year, you would want to take a semester abroad, and that's required. So that's something where it could definitely take up your time because a lot of classes are required. But if you are interested in majoring in global and international studies and you just want to take a class in, say, international relations, you don't have to be a part of any particular department to take a class there. So a lot of times you can just pop in, take the 100 level class. If you don't love it, then that's fine, you know? So, I mean, I just think it's, if you're interested in taking it, that's completely fine. But if you want to take it as a major, they do have some requirements for spending time off campus on also foreign language and econ and political science. So if that's what you're asking, I hope that helped.
Thanks, Olivia. So just to talk a little bit about the application process. I know everyone's getting bombarded with the application type. We do offer early decision as well as early action and regular decision. I know we had a question earlier regarding our merit scholarships and financial aid, and I talked a little bit about our early aid estimator. So we do provide opportunities for students and families to find out how much Wooster costs by attending our institution. So I totally went to a blank screen. I am doing great tonight. So Olivia, this is definitely a trial opportunity here of so can you see my screen? Awesome.
Yep, you're
Okay.
good.
So let's make this a little bit more again, we'll continue being interactive. Somebody coming from Cleveland, and of course you looked all over the place, but did you think that the College of Wooster provides a lot of opportunity because we're a smaller / medium city? What did you think about the city of Worcester providing the opportunities to connect within the community in terms of internships, or possibly your friends connected locally with those experiential learning opportunities?
Yeah, there are actually a lot of possible opportunities within the city of Worcester, which is great because we're close to the J.M. Smucker company. So if you're interested in business, you can possibly get an internship there. And we also have a Cleveland clinic right up the road. So if you're interested in medical, you can get an internship there. But one of the things that I appreciate as well is, say, if you've been stuck in Ohio for a while and you think, oh, I want to see what life is like in another state, we do have fellowships through Apex where you can find an internship somewhere else and they'll give you a stipend to live there and work at that internship. So wherever you are in the world, you can get, you have plenty of opportunities within Worcester and within the Cleveland area. But if you want to experience life somewhere else, we can also make that happen for you.
Thanks, Olivia, for touching on that point, because I get that a lot. Being 8 years at Worcester, what is there to do? I'd rather be in a larger city and be exposed to everything. But it's great that we offer those opportunities and you're still staying connected with the community, the student community and faculty and staff on campus. So residence life, when I mention, hey, you have to live here all 4 years, that is really kind of eye-turning to some students. Are like, I want to live in an apartment. You're living in a single right now. So how are you living in a single your senior year?
Well, could you elaborate in your question, like the housing process or what your
Yeah,
options for living?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's a lottery system for where you live. So your first year, you will get randomly assigned to a residence hall. So you'll take a questionnaire about the type of person you would live best with, but you do get randomly assigned. And then as you kind of move up in years, you have some more options. We have apartments on campus. We have suite style living and we have houses and also single rooms if that's something that you're interested in. So for me, I got a good room draw for my senior year, but even if you don't, there are plenty of places to live if you do want to live by yourself. So I had a roommate for all 3 years and decided I was going to be working on my independent study. I kind of have weird sleep hours, didn't want to burden somebody else with that. So I decided to live on my own, and it's been great. So pretty much if you want to live in a house with lots of friends, or if you are more suited to a solitary lifestyle, then you have lots of options.
So we get the question a lot about traditions. Students are trying to definitely want to find that connection in terms of traditions coming from their high school, their traditions. I know that you came from Shaker, and lots of traditions at Shaker. I love our traditions at Wooster. What's one of your favorite traditions? There's academic traditions as well as extracurricular.
I think my favorite one that we have is filling the arch with snow. And I know there's a picture of it somewhere in this PowerPoint, so I don't want to spoil it. But one of our traditions that we have is the arch that's in this picture. Back in the day when we were an older college, and this was the only building we had on campus, students would try to fill the arch in the middle with snow so the doors would be blocked and they wouldn't have to go to class. And now, as you can see, there are other doors in other buildings, so we don't get to skip class anymore. But it's still something we like to do where we get together and fill up snow. And it's fun because we can usually knock on the president's door and get her to come out and throw a shovel of snow in. And people bring out speakers and hot chocolate. And it's just a really fun community event, which I always look forward to. So I definitely, if you come to campus, hope that you get to have that experience this year, because it almost always happens on my birthday too. And it's just like the best day. So yes, I always look forward to that.
When's your birthday, Olivia?
January 14th. So it's right when we come back from winter break and everybody's happy to see each other and we're just like, yeah, let's go fill up the arch. So I hope it snows enough this year because I want my last year to go out with a bang for that.
I know we're really proud of all the seasons that we get to celebrate. Another academic tradition that I love are the carols, and people go, what, carols? So as you tour campus, like I said, we're open. You'll see a lot of desks pushed up against our library windows. Olivia, where is your carol this year, and why is that such a big thing at Wooster?
Well, every senior will get a carol, and it's a cool place to study and work on your IS. And no other class year gets it. It's just a big desk that's all yours, and you get to decorate it however you want. So I have lots of pictures of my cats and my friends and these cool places I've been to remind myself of, you know, what I have to look forward to and where I've been. So it's been fun to decorate that, but also I have a nice space to work and not get distracted. So because we do have different levels of the library, as many colleges do, where you are loud on the first and quiet on the third, I'm too much of a social butterfly to have my carol on the first floor. So I purposefully made myself be in the third so I wouldn't be allowed to talk to anybody. But it's up to you. Pretty much wherever you want to work and wherever you work best, you can get your own desk to yourself. So I love it. I should be working there more, but when I'm up there, it definitely feels special and like I've made it to my senior year.
I love in one of our view books a couple years ago, there was a picture of a student under a carol, laying face up under a carol. And it wasn't even his carol. It was a friend of his, and he was just taking a nap. So I love, again, kind of tying back to the community and the camaraderie and the connection that our students have at the College of Wooster. Anything else that, Olivia, as you talk about the College of Wooster as a senior intern, that you're proud of as a student, about the academic? I think let's kind of focus, let's go back to, we talked about fun things, go back to the academics, what you're proud of and of why you chose Wooster, part of the academics.
Yeah, I mean, we've touched a lot on the independent study, which is a big deal. But like I said, it's a 4-year process, and I definitely have felt prepared for it, even though it's something that I've been, you know, a little bit nervous about all the way through because it's a big paper, a big project to have at the end. But I was glad that I was supported all the way through and that professors were very accessible and very excited to talk to me, because through those small class sizes, you get to build these relationships with them where they know who you are, you know who they are, and you can just kind of pop into their office and be like, hey, I need help with this, or I just want to tell you about what's going on in my life right now. And having that really made the difference for me, because as much as I was excited by the prospect of a big school, I was worried that I was just kind of going to fade into the background or have, you know, no motivation to go to class, and just was happy to kind of be anonymous. But I was glad that I had accountability with the smaller class sizes, and also that I now have great contacts who have been really helpful to me in looking to next steps in life.
So one thing that I love to look for is the IS Symposium. I hope it happens this year. It's the Monday after, it's the Monday of, is it the last academic day or the Monday leading into the week of the last academic week?
I want to
Olivia's
say it's the Monday of the last academic week.
Okay. So 80% of our seniors get to present their independent study. I know Olivia's referred to IS, which means independent study. And so 80% of our seniors get to present their research across campus, and their friends, family get to come and listen to their presentation. I know, Olivia, you've probably been to a ton of presentations because you have a lot of friends across campus. My favorite is within the performing arts. One of our students, she loved languages. She was a performing arts major. And so she actually got to sing 4 different songs in 2 different languages, accompanied by 2 different instruments. So that was my favorite independent study that I got to see on Symposium Day. Olivia, what was your favorite one?
I also really enjoy the performing arts ones, and a lot of people I know will write their own plays and perform them, so it's cool to see a work that was done by your friend performed by your friends. So that's always fun to go cheer them on. But I mean, one of the great things is that people have been working on this all year, sometimes even for 2 years. So the way that it's lined up is kind of like a college fair or a science fair where you can just pop by, talk to people, and you can just see their eyes light up when they're telling you what they've accomplished. And so it's fun to just float around, see what people have been working on. And also we have lots of snacks, which is great. It's fun perk because there are all sorts of baked goods and things to eat. So you can get a snack, walk around, talk to your friends, and just let them enjoy all the hard work that they've done. And I'm really hoping I get to do that this year.
I hope so too, because I know a lot of our local businesses will come and present their baked good items, their lunch, dinners, and everything for families and students. So we're still accepting. We definitely would love to have questions. I know we're kind of getting down to the last couple minutes of our presentation here. Again, we hope that it's been very interactive for our audience, and hopefully you get to learn a little bit about Wooster. I know we've had some technical difficulties of the slides. Didn't know that was happening, but we appreciate the student that said, hey, are you having any slides here? So Olivia, tell us a day in a life this week. What's going on? What did you do today? What's happening for the rest of the week? Because I think being a student in college is so unknown for a high school student. So give us some advice or give us some insight of what you're doing as a senior.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I can talk you through it because at least thinking back from my senior year of high school perspective, when I first came to college, I think I was shocked by how much freedom I have because a lot of times high school is very rigid. You're doing 10 classes a day and there's not really a lot of time to kind of have to yourself and to manage it and just let it be. So what I appreciate is that especially on Tuesday, Thursdays, I usually have a lecture class in the morning. So I had classical social theory this morning with one of my favorite professors. And then I had a really long block of time to get some work done or just to hang out with friends. So I got to go to a cafe with one of my friends for lunch, and then I had some time to sit outside, work on my independent study and do some readings. But one of the fun things is that you're just going to see so many people during the day. It's cool to just talk to them, catch up, and you'll have lots of time just between your commitments where you can have that time to relax or to socialize or to get some work done on your own. So that's what I did for most of my afternoon. And then what else did I do today? Got dinner at Lowry Center, which is our dining hall, and now I'm here. So there's a lot of different options for what you can do with your free time, but I like to take my Tuesday, Thursdays easy because I have lots of plans, and tonight I'm going to go to our student newspaper and hang out with them. So, I mean, pretty much it's whatever you want to do. A lot of it is just kind of up to your own discretion, which I appreciate.
A lot of independency and juggling of fun things.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a question from Molly, which is great. I know you mentioned earlier, what does first year housing look like?
Yeah, so first year housing is all in large residence halls. So usually it's going to be sorted by gender. I believe we still do that. So we'll have, girls on one floor, guys in another, and you get randomly assigned to which hall you're going to live. So the only reason that you would really get assigned to a certain person is because you would take a roommate questionnaire before moving in. and they would try to match you with somebody who has your living habits. So it's like your typical neat or messy, night person, morning person, do you smoke, those kinds of things to make sure that you're compatible with who you live with. So my first year roommate decided she did not want to attend Wooster after her first year because she wanted a bigger school, but we lived really well together, and she was the type of person who I still talk to even though she doesn't go here anymore, just because we had so much in common with the way we were matched. So I really loved talking to her, and she had a great first year here, so we still bond over all the silly stuff that we did as roommates when we were first living together. So I really do appreciate the fact that they do put care into who lives with whom.
And I think that speaks to the truth of our Worcester community and caring, whether it's academic wise, community wellness and everything. I know, Olivia, that you've kind of been all over the place in terms of making your connection and finding that relationship and that support to make your experience at Worcester successful. So it's great to see that you were able to find that connection. I think many other students can find that connection because it's such a smaller community. Not that everybody knows your business, but it's supportive. I know, Olivia, you probably were around a lot of students within your Shaker community that were looking, I'm going big. This is because all my family went here, and I know I've gotten to know you, Olivia, because I was a part of your recruiting process, and I'm not sure where your family members went, but did you find that kind of pressure because of your peers when you went in high school, because they were everyone was going in one direction of their college search, and you're like, Worcester's my choice, come check us out?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an interesting process for me because I know from Shaker, a lot of people choose to go to Ohio State, which is a big school. And I think it's great if somebody wants to go to a big school. I loved Ohio State as well when I looked there, and they have a lot of perks. But what I liked about Worcester is that a lot of the same opportunities that were available at OSU, such as internships, meeting people, having lots of places to live and eat on campus, were available at Worcester as a smaller school. And so I was able to have that kind of experience with all the perks that I liked about Ohio State, but still go to a smaller school. So even though I was one of the few people from my high school who ended up here, I think in a sense I knew it was right for me because I wanted to have that tight-knit community. So I definitely don't regret my choice at all, even though I was, in the minority choosing to go here.
Well, Olivia, thank you so much for your insight of being a Worcester student here and being a part of our session. We're extremely excited that you are a part of our program tonight. I know that we're getting down to the wire of 7:45. We appreciate you being a part of this process, even though we had some technical difficulties. But as I said, you can virtually stay connected with us or visit us on campus, which we're a little over an hour away. Olivia, anything else that you want to mention? You were fantastic. I know that you're about to transition to another meeting. Anything that you would like to add a part of this session tonight of our Clevelanders?
Sure. Yeah, for Clevelanders, I would say two things is one, don't be afraid of going close to home. It's not going to feel like you're close to home. I know for me, my parents like to visit, but they oftentimes don't because they know that I want to have the full college experience. So you'll still feel like you're having an experience outside of home if that's something that you're looking for. But another thing too, in your application is just to be genuine. I know that when I went through it, a lot of my thinking was, oh, what will colleges want to see? But ultimately, in talking to Worcester counselors such as Tracy, a lot of what I gleaned and what was best for me is just to talk about what I loved and to kind of see, what I might want to pursue later in life, because we want to see enthusiasm and your excitement about learning. And really, if you can tell us what you love, I think that that's going to be the most important thing. So be yourself and best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you soon. And if you want to interview, maybe you'll get to see me, and I love talking to students. So feel free to reach out.
Great. Thanks so much, Olivia. I guess we're done here.
We are. Tracy and Olivia, thank you so much for joining us this evening. A lot of great information. And thank you to our attendees for being a part of this evening. When you close your window, there will be a link for a very quick 4-question survey. We would really appreciate your input. Also, this is just one of many sessions being held, so please check them out at oacac.org. And as a reminder, this session is being recorded. It'll be available in a week along with other ones at the same website, oacac.org. Thank you all so much and have a good evening.
Bye-bye.